Hey, so I think on LinkedIn, we'll see. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, and I'm just rolling with it. So I wanted to share some of the work I'm doing and how I'm thinking about um, work with small startups. And in particular, as an operator, right? So one of the things that I'm really good at is processes and operations and people. And so I've been studying two pieces of work, and then using these skills that I've taken from my 20 years of education and my years of working in the tech space, and pulling those together. And so Traction is a book by Gino Wickman. If you've not heard of this, it is a, based off of a system called EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. And it seems like, from what I can tell, I've talked to some people who are part of the system. They consult with companies all over the United States and abroad, and they've been doing this for a long time. It's not necessarily something I've picked up from the being a part of like the tech startup space, but more from small to mid-size on the ground businesses, as it seems like is who they work with. But I could be wrong about that. I did mention it to a friend who works at a tech company, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the founder made everyone buy the book and read it, Traction." And he's like, I never did. But all that to say, what I'm going to share is from Traction and Rocket Fuel. And in particular, this book called Rocket Fuel, which was the first book I read by Gino Wickman and Mark Winters, which talks about these two roles to make any business company successful. And the roles are a visionary and an integrator. And so the visionary, right? We all have an idea of what a visionary is. In a company, right? This is the person whose head is in the big picture. They can see what's coming ahead. Um, they've got traits on that. And so I want to take some time today to talk about a visionary and an integrator according to Traction and Rocket Fuel. What I've taken from getting their free resources and reading their books, and then working and bringing this into a company that I'm consulting with currently. I want to share how what I'm learning through this process, and what I'm learning in particular, what I think that maybe that's a better word, what I'm experiencing, because I'm really good at learning from a cognitive space. Obviously, you can see I read, I take notes, I have a bunch of thoughts here. What I'm learning about myself is how do I lead, teach from a heart space. As a matter of fact, I had a call with the founder today of the company I'm consulting with, and she and I were talking about some workshops I've been working on and delivering for the team. And I was reflecting how the week prior workshop, I was not in a flow state. I was operating from here. I had PowerPoint slides up the wazoo, which for me is good and bad. It was way over planned. I was erring on the side of head and totally disregard any sort of a flow state. And so we were talking about, we were reflecting, I was reflecting and saying, she had made a comment, she gave me some feedback. She said, I want to give you some feedback, which was like feedback that she was dead on, spot on. And so it gave me some time to really process. I think her feedback actually gave me more space, which means I had to take more time to think about where I missed it, look at my evidence. And I didn't want to look at it from here. I really wanted to look at it from here. Okay. And in this book, Rocket Fuel, and why I think this founder integrator relationship is so important, because Rocket Fuel basically says these two key roles, the visionary and the integrator, when functioning together, can create a fusion, a synergy, an energy that can really propel the work forward. And so they go through the characteristics of the visionary and the integrator. And I know I've shared a little bit about me, but how I've approached this work is I'm the integrator in this scenario. The visionary of this company has hired me to be the integrator. She's the visionary. She's a strong female founder, visionary leader. And so I encouraged her to read this book because I know I wanted to come as an integrator. On the rocket fuel, on the traction website, you can take a little assessment, and that assessment will tell you what percentage of who you are as a leader, what percentage of that aligns with integrator, and what percentage of that aligns with visionary. And I don't remember what my percentage was, but it was a little bit higher on the integrator side, but it was also pretty high on the visionary. I do believe that, and I'm going to tell you what a visionary, what an integrator is. I'll give you the characteristics of those. I'll get there, I promise. But a visionary and an integrator balanced together is something that when those two complementary pieces come together, it creates a real solid foundation. I think for me, I've been thinking of an integrator as like a COO, operations person who runs operations. What I'm realizing is that is a far oversight on my part. That is not it. Operations is actually the wrong thing for me, because when I start to get in operations, I get in my head. I don't lead from my heart. I've talked about that a little bit because, going back to my conversation with my visionary, she's the visionary, I'm the integrator, feedback. She was giving me feedback. And the feedback was after I went through this week's workshop and really owned up that I was operating from here and not from a flow state, that I had overplanned, that I wasn't aligned. Basically, I talked a little bit about my inner world, mostly about my inner world and my feelings, self-reflected back, told her how I adjusted for this week, where I think we need to go this week, and walked through my plan. And she was like, great. And she said to me, you fly. She didn't, I don't know if she used the word fly, but what I heard and wrote down was, you fly from your heart. And that, like, light bulb, a brain busting moment. You hired me because you trust that I can open up from a more vulnerable, open flow state as an integrator, to bring teams and people and processes together and operationalize systems. But really, the way systems become operationalized, the way organizations and companies grow and evolve and change and stretch, is when the people, the individuals inside of the organization do that for themselves. And so as the integrator, you're not just leading the work, you're leading the work you're doing in your life and within the context of a group of people in an organization. And as an integrator, you're holding and helping carry the vision. You don't own the vision. You help carry, you usher the vision. You create space for the vision. You carve out time, literal time for the vision. You help people integrate not knowledge, but who they can be into themselves. And so today, as I came to make this and do this, I didn't want to. I didn't want to is the wrong way to say that. That's not true. I felt very scared to go live. I don't even think this is live streaming. I have no idea. It might just be recording on the back end. Who even knows? I'm going to post it after, but I felt very scared to come live and to share work I'm doing. Traction, Rocket Fuel, how I'm thinking, share personal stories, connect it to what I'm doing, flow in the moment, not have a script, not have a plan, except to openly share and it have meaning making. Because one time I did a LinkedIn live and people were like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like that was the feedback. I'm like, okay. Also know I have to start somewhere. And so this today moment felt like somewhere to start. And back to Rocket Fuel and Traction. I want to share a little bit about the characteristics of a visionary and an integrator and what I'm learning around how you actually take this, because I've talked to people who have gone through, they have programs. Traction has this book, but it also has a program, and you can go, to a seminar and stuff. I haven't been able to do that yet. I've talked to some people who are integrators, and who are people who actually work for this company, this franchise, Traction franchise, and they will help integrators like me who are in the field. They're like a coach to the coaches, essentially, something like that. A leader for the leaders. And as I'm doing this and feeling my way through this, I wanted to share my journey. And I oftentimes will hold myself back because, my hair's not done, or I don't know enough yet. I don't have a plan yet. What if I go to live stream and it doesn't live stream? So to cut all those barriers out, I just wanted to do it now. This be my first one. Nothing may ever happen with this. But I have it documented. I did it. I've recorded it, and I've done something. That to me is growth. That to me is working through. That's integrating. That's me being an integrator, integrating my learning, my insights, my cognitive thinking into my inner world, and then processing it out loud and sharing it with others in the moment. And so if you've watched this, thank you. Thank you for taking a moment to follow me through my meandering process and giving me some space in your life. And that is valuable. That's real. And so I want to acknowledge that. And as I'm becoming more me, I encourage you to become more you, whatever that means for you. For me today, it meant in hoodie, looking like this, recording something. For you, it may be something different, but allow yourself to walk through that fire, that difficult, that challenge inside that only you know. Because there's that whole saying about the only way out is through. And then once you get through, you find out you're in again, right? So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share from my heart to your heart today.